guess I can hear you loud and clear. All right, sharp. Thanks, man. There, yeah, put on your headphones. All right, yes, indeed, it is another one. Today it is the 26th November 2025, and we just left with how many days? 35 days to go to 2026. I'm not so sure, but you can just calculate for me there. And we're approaching this busy time, and people are talking about money. And yeah, today in this episode of GPF, we're talking annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. And in general, yes, the GPF is financially sound and sustainable. And, today my guest is somebody else, the new one, Mr. Dandala. Mr. Dandala, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Oscar, and good evening to all the listeners, and a special shout out to GPF members and pensioners.
Salute to all the members of GPF. And today, no smangasi mileni. Today we're having Mr. Dandala, and later we'll be taking your calls, a WhatsApp call, and of course send those voice messages rolling on this number 065-927-8326, 065-927-8326 later. So just to be ready for yourself today, I'm here with Mr. Dandala. Mr. Dandala, first thing first, what is GPF?
Thank you much. Thank you very much, DJ Oscar. Just to start, the GPF is the Government Employees Pension Fund. We are a pension fund for government employees that work at national and provincial level, and a couple of other state-owned entities like SASA, SARS. A couple of those organizations as well are members of the GPF, and our primary responsibility is to preserve members' contributions towards pension, make sure that they grow, they are invested and they grow, as well as to pay pensions to all those civil servants that have already taken pension and are at home, hopefully with their families enjoying their pension money from the GPF.
Because it's December, hey, we need that money, man. We need
that no, absolutely. Yeah. I hope the SMSs will keep coming, showing the money. There's no stop there.
I'm sure of that. At home, just tell your neighbors, just tell everyone who's working for government that Mr. Dandala is here, GPF representing. Right, are you satisfied with the performance of the GPF during this financial year of 2024 and 2025?
Thanks very much for your question, Oscar. Yes, we are more than satisfied. So the financial results that we are discussing this year are for the period ended March, end of March 2024-2025. We're extremely happy. Our performance is better than it did last year.
Okay.
So if there's been growth and an improvement on the previous year, you can only be happy. And all the figures are in the right direction.
Right, you have heard the man today. In case you have just joined us, we're talking about the annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. And all the radio stations that are listening right now, from the likes of Kasi, Moretel FM, Zibonele, Maputa Land, Riverside, you name all these radio stations. I guess you are listening, and just to be ready in case you have questions. He's here, Mr. Dandala. Anything that you want to ask him, he's here, and he will be able to respond on that. And Mr. Dandala, let's talk about the financial year highlights coming out of the report. Basically, what are they?
Yes, thanks again, Oscar. So I think the key highlights would be the following. Like I said to you when we started, is that we invest money on behalf of our members and pensioners so that it grows. And the total value of our investments has now grown from last year. At the end of last year, we were at 2.38 trillion. Let me say that again, Oscar. We were at 2.38 trillion. We have now grown to 2.69 trillion, which is a growth of 13.1%. Just by comparison, last year when we grew to 2.38 trillion, that growth was only for 2.6%. So in this financial year, we've now grown by 13.1%. So that's the first key highlight, very important, that we're a huge fund and that we are continuing to grow. We're chasing the 3 trillion rand mark. I hope that's what we'll be talking about next year when I come back. And then importantly is the return on investment. So you can grow, but are you making a profit? Is money coming back into the GEPF to grow? And our return on investment, or what they call ROI, has grown by 14.1%. By comparison, last year we only grew by 4.9%. So this year we grew by 14.1%, which is roughly 3 times more. The value of that growth in terms of Machankura, it's 379 billion rands. 379 billion rands that we have grown by. So that's the key one. And then just very quickly, the last one, which is very important, which is something that a lot of our members will actually be familiar with by now, is what we call our funding level, because it's been part of the debate around actuarial interest factors that Mr. Selemeni has been talking about in the last 2 episodes. Our funding level is at 119%. So what that means is that for every 100 rands that we owe, for every 1 rand that the GEPF owes, we have 1 rand and 19 cent. So for example, what that means practically is that if everybody came to us today and say they want to cash in, they want all their money, we would pay them.
So Mr. Dandala, before we continue, let's. I hear you saying GEPF now has grown from 2.8 to
2.38
to
2.69. Yes.
So is it this money? Is it from unclaimed? Or what is actually happening with this money?
Yeah, so the growth, Oscar, is specifically in the growth of our investments or our assets. So we're not talking about unclaimed benefits yet. So we're talking, remember what we do as a pension fund, we get money from members. We then take that money and we invest it. We invest it in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange largely. About 85% of the money is invested in the stock exchange. We then also invested in private companies. It's called unlisted assets. So they are private companies, they are regulated. We also invest in them. And we also have some investments in the rest of Africa. So when I say we have grown, I'm talking about we've managed to grow that money by 13.1%.
So let's talk about, before we continue, let's talk about the unclaimed benefits. What do you do, or what does GEPF do with that money, especially the unclaimed one?
Yeah, so I think the unclaimed benefits, we need a topic on its own in order to be able to explain it fully. But unclaimed benefits, firstly, to explain, it's money that we owe people, but has not been claimed. So it's sitting in the fund because the person, for example, a very common one, a person gets fired at work. And because they've been fired, they think that they are not entitled to their pension. And they quickly go back, and they go away and they go to the rural areas. Not because they thought that because they were fired, they were not entitled to get their pension. It's those types of money. Some of them, people have passed away, and then we can't locate their relatives. Because a person, for example, started working when they were 22 years old, they were living in a back room in a shack in Soweto, and then they never updated their details. And then now we can't find them. It's those kind of stories. That's what unclaimed is. It's money that we owe to people, but we can't find them. But the money sits in the fund. Even if a person disappears for 30 years.
So can I come and
they come back? They can come as my pay slip. I used to work at the Department of Health, and I never claimed my money because they fired me. So I thought I was not entitled to it. But here are all my documents. You submit your claim, we'll pay you.
I'm the beneficiary. Can I come and say, hey, can you loan me 100K? Loan.
The GEPF is not a financial services provider. Yeah, so we don't offer loans to members and pensioners. That's not the role of a pension fund. If you want to do that, that's a separate legislation. In terms of legislation, so we don't lend money to members and pensioners.
At home, GEPF does not lend money to their members. I guess you heard it loud and clear. GEPF doesn't lent money. In case you have just joined us, hey, this is Mr. Dandala, and today we're talking annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. And of course, you can start dialing and ask the man a question, 065-927-8326, and send those voice messages rolling, 065-927-8326, 065-927-8326. Let's talk about the main benefits highlights coming out of the report.
Yes, so I think importantly, benefits are a key part of obviously what a pension fund is. It's what we exist to do. It's to pay pensions. So a few things that I can highlight with regards to pensioners and beneficiaries. Firstly, is to confirm that our audited results in terms of number of members is 1.26 million people. And then in terms of pensioners and beneficiaries, that we pay benefits to are now sitting at 565,000. So roughly the GPF caters for about 1.8 million people. 1.8 million people. So importantly, the key numbers in terms of payment of benefits, the amount we paid in benefits last year was 167 billion rands. So that's the total amount of benefits that we paid. So those are people that are going on pension, taking out their retirement money, people who have resigned. It's the funeral benefits, it's the child benefits that we pay to children, it's the spouse pensions that we pay to the spouses of members of ours that have passed on. So the total amount of money that we paid is 167 billion rand in last financial year. Then a very important one number as well is the monthly pension. So you know that obviously our pensioners get a monthly pension which they receive for life. The total amount of money that we paid this year is 88.6 billion rands. Divide that by 12 months, we're talking roughly the GEPF paying 6-7 billion rand a month, in terms of pensions to people. And then another very important and critical one for us is the child pension. So when a GPF member or a pensioner passes on, their children, if they are 21 years and under, are able to claim a pension from us. And we paid last year 23,477 child beneficiaries, and the total amount of money that we paid was 1.4 billion rands in child pensions. And then the very last one, just to highlight on the benefit side, Oscar, is that a very somber one. We obviously pay a funeral benefit as well. Okay. When a member passes on, or their spouse pass on, or their children pass on, we pay a benefit to assist towards the funeral costs. And last year, the value of the funeral benefit was 517 million rands. So those are just some of the benefits that show that the GPF is paying what it's supposed to pay, and we're doing our best to support members in making sure that their money is paid.
So if I may ask, somebody said, hey, you must ask Mr. Sebele, but it is unfortunate because he's not here. I'm asking Mr. Dandala, how much does GPF pay, especially funeral benefits?
Yeah, so the funeral benefit, firstly, let me maybe just to explain what it covers. So it covers your immediate family as a member. Okay, so it will cover the member themselves, it will cover their spouse, and then it also covers their children. Okay, children being 21 and below. If the child is between 18 and 21, then if they are still studying and still dependent, you can claim the funeral benefit. So that's what it covers. For the member and their spouse, the value of the benefit is now 20,000 rands. It increased actually last year already in 2024 from 15,000 to 20,000. And then for children, the benefit is 8,000 rand. It increased last year from 6,000 rand to 8,000 rand. Or a very important thing as well to mention for the people out there is that it also covers stillborn children. Okay, so if a couple is unfortunate that when their child is born they do not survive, they are able to claim that benefit from the GPF and will be paid 8,000 rands.
065-927-8326. That's a call. You can just give us a call right now and send those WhatsApp messages rolling on the same number, 065-927-8326, 065-927-8326. And today, yes, we're talking annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. So, Mr. Dandala, what is the funding level of the GPF?
Yes, thanks. It's the question that I was busy explaining there. So the funding level, it explains whether the fund is sustainable or not, whether the fund has money to pay its liability and what it owes. Okay. So very quickly, I was still explaining that our funding level currently is at 119%. So what that means is that for every 1 rand that the GEPF owes to its members, the GEPF has 1 rand and 19 cents in its coffers. So I was still making the example that if everybody came to GEPF tomorrow, members, and they said, pay us our money, we want it now, today, the GEPF would be able to pay all those people, and then we would still have 19 cents left, 1 rand, we'd still have 119 cents left in the bank. Okay, so that means the fund is sustainable, it's financially sound, it's got the ability to meet all its obligations into the future. So that's what the funding level is about. Maybe to give an just a very quick point of clarity as well on the funding level. The legislation actually allows us to only be 90% funded. So what that means, if we owe 1 rand, we would only have 90 cents in the bank. You know, the legislation allows us to be 90% funded. In fact, when the GEPF was formed in 1996, our funding level was at 70%, which means that for every 1 rand we owed, we only had 70 cents in the bank. So you can see the level of growth to now be at 119% means we are way above what the legislation requires, and we are more than capable to meet all our financial obligations.
This is Mr. Dandala from GEPF, and we're talking annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. So what are the challenges that the fund overcome, Mr. Dandala?
Yes. So to come back to your original question, it's part of why we are very pleased with the results, because we live in a very challenging global and local economic environment. So if we start with locally, some of the challenges that we've got to overcome is that we live in a country, unfortunately, that's got very slow economic growth. I think last year we grew at 1%, whatever. So the impact of that, Oscar, is that if your economy is growing at 1%, it's difficult for companies to also grow. You know, because remember, our money is invested in companies and the JSE. So if economic growth is slow, which means the growth of all your companies that you invested in is going to be a challenge. So slow economic growth is a challenge. Another major one that we faced in the period was the issue, I think it was well recorded in the media, is the issues around infrastructure. You know, people were talking about Transnet and there were challenges. Those things create blockages for business, you know. So if your business is experiencing blockages, it means it's hard for you to grow, and then for investors like the GEPF to earn a return, you know. So that is another one. The issue of inflation was a problem. You know, when inflation is quite high, it's come under control now, but last year it was still relatively raised, which means it's challenging economic environment. And then also the things that happen in the rest of the world, globally, also have an impact on investments. You know, so we know what the big stories are out there. It was the conflict in Ukraine. There was a lot of talk about how it had created problems in logistics and supply chain areas. The conflict in Gaza is a problem, because whenever there is conflict, you know, it's got negative impact on businesses. So taking all those challenges, to then be facing all those challenges and then still manage to grow by 13.1%, you know, it's a huge achievement. You know, so those are some of the key challenges that we overcame. And I think an important point to make here is the fact that the GEPF is a long-term investor. You know, we don't panic. You know, when things are rough, there's rough and tumble. Trump said this, he did this, or whatever. We take it easy. We remain calm, because we know that we have a responsibility to be here even in 50 years' time, so that we can pay people's pension. So we understand that the economy is cyclical. There's tough times, there's good times, things like that. So we don't panic. We have a long-term view in terms of our investment. We take our time, we don't panic, and we are prudent, we make the right financial decisions as best as we can. So those are some of the challenges that we overcame, and we're very pleased.
Send those SMS rolling, those voice messages rolling. Let's just hear this one. I guess maybe has It just says something there. Let's just check. Where are we now? All right, in case you have just joined us, I'm just having a technical challenge right here, right now. In case you have just joined us, this is Mr. Dandala, and he's representing GEPF today, and we're talking about the annual report results for the 2024-2025. 065 927 8326. 065 927 8326. 065 927 8365. And can you provide examples of social impact, especially of your investments, benefits on your members?
Yeah. So what we do, Oscar, it's a very important question. So, and as part of our investing, our investment strategy, we've got this thing that we do is that we're always trying to invest for impact.
Yeah.
We obviously take decisions that are driven by the fact that they are sound investments. We don't invest recklessly, and that the investments that we make will yield a financial return for our members and pensioners. But also very important is to invest in things that we know on a daily basis will assist members.
Before you continue, let's hear this a voice message.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just hear.
Plus noma because uke waziclaima but azange asakhona ukuthi azireceive washona before azireceive. Kufanele ukuthi surplus noma because uke waziclaima but azange asakhona ukuthi azireceive washona before azireceive.
Did you hear the voice
Yes,
message?
I didn't hear the first part of what she's asking, but I think from the bit that she said, I can hear. What she seems to be saying is that there is someone who who passed away before they had completed submitting their claim. Yeah. So that would be another classic case when Oscar of unclaimed benefits. So if that member has a spouse, a legal spouse, whether a wife or if it's a lady, a husband, even if they're whether they are married legally or via traditional means, through a traditional marriage, or if the person had a life partner, so or maslalisane, where they live together, but it's known in the community that they live together, they were supporting each other. That person, that spouse can come forward to claim the benefit. In the instance that they no longer have a spouse, they didn't have a spouse, maybe it was a person who lived alone, and whatever, then the children of the member can come forward. So especially if they're minor children, so 18 years younger than 18 years, they can come forward with a guardian, bring the death certificate of the member, the ID, all the documentation, and the claim will be submitted for that benefit to then be paid to them. In the instant where, for example, then maybe just as a last point, in the instance where the children are adults, so they were working, let's say it was a father or a mother that was living alone or whatever, and their children are old, what those children can do is they can open an estate account. Use the estate account to then come to the GEPF with all his documents, death certificate, copies of ID and all of that, and submit the claim, and the funds will then be paid into the estate account.
And how long does it take for GEPF to pay its members?
So our period for processing claims is 60 days. So roughly 2 months or so. That's our process. And if everything is in order, if the documents are correct, the supporting documents are submitted, there's no complication, generally we pay within the allowed period. Okay, where we find complications, we find complications, unfortunately we find complications of missing documents, application forms not being completed correctly, and then you also obviously find very unique cases. So a unique case, for example, a classic one is that it is perhaps a male. You know, he had a wife and children. They come to submit the claim, and we find out he also had children with another woman somewhere else.
Yeah.
So those kind of things then will delay the payment, because now we must investigate, we must look into it, make sure that all the right people get paid. But the proper period in which we're supposed to be paying is 60 days.
So let's hear. I think it is the very same person. Let's just hear what is she saying.
Ukuthi khona imember mhlambe yashona neyefamily eyasebenza nayo, and then fanele ukuthi naye amukele imali kukhonakala ukuthi ize surplus noma because uke waziclaima but azange sakhona ukuthi azireceive washona before azireceive.
Yeah. So it's the same case we responded to now. So like I said, that money is still there. The rightful people that must just come forward to submit the claim, and then the money will be paid if all the documentation is in order.
065-927-8326, 065-927-8326. We take your WhatsApp message, your WhatsApp call, your call. He's here, Mr. Dandala, because we're talking the annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. So let me just ask, because people have been asking this question, and they also told me, in fact, they just gave me an assignment and say, go and ask this question, Oscar. What is actually the 4 rule for pensions?
The what?
The 4 rule for pensions, especially from GPF. That's basically the question that I was asked.
The 4 rule?
Yeah, I just don't know. I said, you know what, I'll just go and ask.
Oscar, I was 2 years old when I heard about the 4 rule.
Yeah. So
no, I don't know unless perhaps the person didn't explain properly. Yeah. But I don't know what that is.
He said to me, Oscar,
yes,
there's
try.
Yeah, there's the 4 rule for pension, and there's the 5-year rule for pension. So I just did not understand what he's actually talking about.
You know what I think? I suspect. Yeah. Mr. Selemeni you've had a discussion around this topic on the show before. I suspect they were probably referring to the 5-year balance.
Yeah.
To the 5-year balance. So, without taking too long, so let me just explain the benefits when a member goes on pension. When a member of the GPF retires, what happens is that they are paid a 1/3 lump sum, or what we call a gratuity, right? Which is a lump sum which is paid cash. It goes into the bank, it gets taxed accordingly, and it goes into the member's bank account. Then the remaining 2/3 of the member's pension is then guaranteed. That's why we say it's guaranteed for a period of 5 years.
Okay.
Right? It's guaranteed for a period of 5 years. So what we then do, that remaining 2/3, we then split it. That's the money that we will then pay monthly to the member.
Okay.
Up to the end of 5 years. Right? So 60 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2/3 will be split as monthly payments or monthly annuities for a period of 60 months, which is 5 years.
Yeah.
So what that then means, at the end of 5 years, right, all the pension that a member earned during their period has been paid to them at the end of 5 years. The entire money. I agree in the beginning we gave you 1/3 lump sum, and then the 2/3 we paid up to the end of 5 years. However, after the 5 years, the GPF continues to pay the member a pension until they pass on. But by the end of 5 years, your money as a member has all been paid to you. Now, the 5-year balance is this. If you then, a member then, unfortunately passes away before 5 years. So let's say a member now retires and they get paid their lump sum, they start earning a monthly pension, but then they unfortunately pass away after 3 years on retirement, okay? Which is something that happens, right? It means that because that those monthly annuities are guaranteed for 5 years, it means that there is a balance of 2 years of the pension that the GP have. That balance then must be claimed by the members' beneficiaries, whether it's their spouse or their children. We recommend a nomination form where they write and say that if in the instance that I pass away, please pay the remaining balance of my money to these beneficiaries. So that is what the 5-year balance is.
Okay.
And a critical point to then, just to further clarify this point, what it means then, after 5 years, so now if a member is now living beyond 5 years, remember at 5 years, at the end of 5 years, their entire money has been paid to them, but they are still getting a monthly pension from the GPF. What it means then, after 5 years, if the person then, if the member then or the pensioner then passes away in year 6, there is no longer a balance for them. Because all the money was paid right up until the end of 5 years. But if it's before 5 years that they pass on, then the balance of their money is then paid into to their beneficiaries.
This is Mr. Dandala, GPF today, and we're talking annual report results for 2024-2025 financial year. I have another message. I just want to know if your pension next year March, when is to submit my retirement forms. That's basically the message.
She's late if she hasn't submitted. She's late. We recommend that you submit. This is simply to avoid any challenges, so that if there are problems, we pick them up early, right? We recommend people to submit their forms as early as 6 months before retirement. If you know for a fact you are not still making up your mind, but hey, will I not? You know for a fact, end of March, I'm out of the system. I'm going to live with my grandkids. I don't want to work anymore. I want to sit at home and enjoy the money that I've worked for 30, 35 years. If you know, submit your documents 6 months before.
6 months before.
Even we recommend as early as 6 months before.
So what happens to this one?
So this one, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm probably incorrect to say she's late. Because even up to 3 months, it's still okay. Okay, it's still okay. But we recommend, if you know for a fact, just submit them 6 months before. Go to HR, make sure all your documents are in order, everything is right. We will process. And if we happen to process quickly, let's say you submit your documents 6 months before. Let's say by the end of coming up to 3 months after you submitted, everything is done and we're completed. We won't pay you because you are still working, right?
Okay.
We will wait, but 1 April your money will be in your bank account. We'll just wait for you to leave and then we pay. So that's the beauty of submitting very early. It allows you to pick up problems early if there are challenges, because we'll let you know that, look, there's a problem here, there's document that has not been completed correctly, etc., etc., and you can fix all of those problems. So that to make sure if the last day you resign, you leave office, the next day your payment comes through. So she's still fine, she's still okay, but we would recommend, if she knows for sure, I think before everything shuts down now for December and everybody goes away for holidays, we would recommend that she must submit her documents.
I guess everything is okay. 065-927-8326. Another one, my husband passed away. My 60 days window period will be over 21 December. Not much communication between GPF and the spouse. When is it best to follow up?
Yeah, you should follow up. What we recommend that people should do. So remember here, we are dealing with 1.7 million people. Okay, so naturally, there can be glitches in the system, right? So what we recommend is that, obviously, the forms, if a person is still working, the forms are submitted at the department. Firstly, follow up with the department once you have submitted. So that day after you've completed all the forms and you've given them into the department, don't sit and just wait. Okay? Give the department maybe 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, follow up with the department. Did you send the documents? Can I start following up with the GPF directly now? Because the forms must come to the GPF, right? Okay. They must come from the department. So the first thing we do is we recommend is get to know someone there at HR. Establish a relationship. After you've submitted the forms, go back to them and ask them, did you submit the documents? Have the documents been submitted?
I guess the very same person said, I submitted, and I don't know, somebody's sending her from pillar to post, it's just going up and down.
Yeah. So let me finish the process first. So once the documents, once you know for sure that the documents have left the department, because remember, when they are at the department, nothing is happening. The documents must be processed at the GEPF.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you know for sure and the department confirms to you, we've submitted the documents now. Now you can start following up with the GEPF directly. Okay. So the process is, like I said, the allowed process that we're allowed in legislation is 60 days. Okay. So, but it does not mean you can't follow up once you know that the documents are here. So even after the department confirms with you that the documents have been sent, I would say phone the GEPF to confirm, do you have my documents?
Yeah.
Are they in the system? Okay. And then hopefully the answer is yes, your documents in the system. Thereafter, you keep in mind it's 60 days from the time the GEPF receives them. Thereafter, give yourself time, maybe follow up again after 2 weeks. How's the process going? Are there any challenges? Is there anything missing? And just follow up. What the GEPF itself will do is, once we get the document and we have the right information, we will send an SMS to the beneficiary to say that the documents are in process and they are being processed. And then there's quite a lag on our side in terms of further communication thereafter. We will then communicate at a later stage when the documents are going through the SARS process, which is very close to payment. We'll say, okay, your documents have now been sent for tax directive, and then after that you should get an SMS saying that the benefit has been paid in the account. So as a rule, don't be scared to follow up. We encourage people to follow up. Okay. But within reason. It does not help to phone every day, right? Every day is maybe a bit too much. But if you phone every week, every second week to check what's happening, you must phone the call center and follow up.
I think she's just doing up a follow-up. I followed up last week, and it is said at the payment section, my 60 days window period is over the 21 December. She's still saying all the forms are submitted. Everything is at the headquarters of GEPF. She has submitted everything. So what does it take for her to have, because she's talking about the 60 days window period is over.
Is she saying 21 November?
Yeah, 21 November.
21 November.
That's her date,
That's a date.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, like I say, she just needs to keep following up, weekly, what's happening, where you are now, is there anything missing, etc. I think like I said, like I was trying to say, that glitches in the system do happen, some claims have no problem. Sometimes there's glitches in the system. I think she must just persist. She must continue to follow up weekly, and then the benefit will be paid.
So can she come to the office?
Yes, she can. She can definitely go to a GEPF office to ask if there's anything specifically.
Okay. Yeah, this is Mr. Dandala. Yeah, that's basically the annual report results for the 2024-2025 of financial year. And I have another one, Mr. Dandala. After retired, how long does it take for my leave days to pay when I'm no more working?
Yeah, Oscar, I'm not going to mislead the listener there. Leave days are paid out by the department. That's not a pension benefit.
Okay.
Yeah, so you work for your employer and you get leave from your employer.
Yeah.
And then if you leave and there's leave that's owed to you, your employer pays you, not the GEPF. So I can't speak on behalf of the department. I don't know.
Okay. I guess.
But there is it's a common question.
Yeah.
But maybe just to clarify for everyone else that is listening, leave days are an employer benefit.
Yeah.
It's your employer that owes you leave money. It's not pension money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the GEPF, we just deal with your pension and your pension benefits.
All right.
The leave, you must go and stay and inquire from your employer.
Let's hear another voice message.
Dumelang ntate, ha monate le kae re teng? Nna ne ke kopa ho botsa hore na ha esale re ba le mofu wa rona ka June, and then ka August be re receive lengolo le le hore le re tjhelete tla patala, everything is amaile re mara jwalo fihlella nou tjena ha re soka re fumana tjhelete yone e etsuwa jwang bothata bo jwalo.
Right.
You're going to explain for me that last part there. Along the Ted.
Let me just repeat the voice message.
Yes, I just don't understand that last bit. Yeah.
Nna ne ke kopa ho botsa hore na ha e sale re ba le mofu wa rona ka June and then ka August be re receive lengolo le lo hore le re tjhelete tla patala, everything is amaile reg mara jwalo fihlella nou tjena ha re soka re fumana tjhelete yone e etsuwa jwang bothata bo jwalo.
GPF promised to pay, but so far it did not.
Yes. So the payment has not been made, but they've got again, Oscar, I think it's the same message I was saying earlier. They must follow up. If you are not hearing anything, if things are silent and you are not getting information, phone the call center first, so that you don't have to leave the comfort of your own home and travel and do all of these things. Phone the call center, it's available. If the call center, you're not getting through the call center, go to social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we are on X, try all these platforms. There's an email address, send an email to say, guys, what's happening? I'm still waiting. I was told everything is in order, but the payment is not coming through. And then as a very, very last resort, if you are not winning, then physically go to a GEPF office. Go into the office and find out what's going on. So obviously it's not possible to say without the information of where the problem is. Yeah. But the point that I'm trying to make to listeners here, don't sit back and wait to hear. Be proactive. Try all the platforms. Phone the call center, social media platforms, everything. Try do it in the comfort of your own home first, because we do respond on those platforms. The response could take a while sometimes, for example, on Facebook and whatever, but we do respond. We've got people that are looking at those messages and trying to assist people. If as a last resort you're not winning, then you need to go into an office to find out what's going on.
My sister, my advice is just go to your nearest GPF offices, and I think they will be able to help you. Right. Another message, this is another one. Let's hear from it.
If monna awaka, mme wa hae una bereka spatala ili cleaner, so na ile GEPF ka taba ya grant ya kgwedi le kgwedi eo, ha ke tsebe grant ya kgwedi le kgwedi, so na batla utlwa bona go kgonega gore na a ka e kry-a, mme wa go tlhokaetse ka 2009, so na batla go utlwisisa gore na tšhelete ene ke ngwana o i-one wa mme wa gagwe, ha ana bana ba ba mme wa gagwe, na batla go utlwa no tšhelete e wa kgona go e kry-a or yang. Thank you.
A mother passed away 2009, and she was receiving grant, so she just wanted to know if maybe she can get that money.
Yes, so let's go back again to that issue of the 5-year balance. In fact, we don't even need to go there, because we're talking here about the monthly pension. So we're talking about a pensioner who was receiving a monthly pension. So in fact, the 5-year balance does come in. So remember what I said. If that pensioner then passed away before 5 years, there's a balance to be claimed, right? There's a balance to be claimed. So if it does happen that she passed away within 5-year period, it means there's a balance. So the beneficiaries must come forward to claim, which could be the spouse or the children, or in the case there's no spouse or children, then any family members, sisters or whatever, can open an estate account. So that's number one. If it's after 5 years, remember I said after 5 years we continue to pay the monthly pension, right? After 5 years, remember there's no more balance, right, to be paid to the beneficiaries. Okay, because now all the funds of the member have been paid out. So after 5 years, there's no more balance. So if a person has been earning a pension from 6 years, from 5 years up and before, the only people that can come forward, the only person that can come forward to claim the monthly pension is the spouse. That's what we call the spouse pension. So if I have passed away as a GEPF member and I was already earning a pension and I pass away, my wife will get 50% of what I was being paid. So it is only the spouse that can get the monthly pension. Children are not entitled to that, or anybody else. It's specifically a spouse benefit.
And if there's no spouse, there's
if there is no spouse, if there is no spouse, it's a spouse pension. So it's only person entitled to get it is a spouse pension. So if there is no spouse, then there is no benefit that will be paid.
Right. This is Mr. Dandala. Today, the 26th November 2025, annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. I guess you want to say something?
Yes, man. Just before we've strayed now from the annual report. We're talking daily challenges, but we are here. We will respond. We will respond. It's not at all. So I think there's two things that I'd like, if you allow me to cover, with regards to the annual report. I think the first one is, just for information's sake, we know last year was a big year with regards to the change in legislation and the introduction of the two-pot retirement system. Okay. So it was a very challenging time for the entire industry. The amount of time that was allowed for us to implement was very short. It was actually a very short time. So we had to turn it around very quickly and to then make those payments. So we are very proud of the performance that we did under those circumstances with regard to two-pot. And if I just want to highlight something, so you must think the two-pot didn't exist before 2024. And then, but last year it was introduced, and we received 691,501 applications. So imagine that when I go from zero. And already you can hear from our challenges with processing claims already. And then on top of that, you add another almost 700,000, almost overnight. Right? So that's what happened between September last year and March this year. We received nearly 700,000 applications, over and above everything else that we already pay, right? So, but we managed to pay those claims. Out of those claims, we paid 565.
By the way, we're talking two-pot.
We're talking two-pot. So it's a unique thing that we are reporting on in terms of, we see it as a success in that we were able to make those payments. We paid 565,000 claims that we paid out of the nearly 700,000, and the value of the payments that we made was 14.37 billion rands that we paid. Okay. From
September to March.
From September to March, we paid 14. So remember, I told you earlier, for example, in terms of let's use the child pension. Last year, child pension, we paid 1.4 billion for the entire year, from April to March. We paid 1.4 billion. Two-pot, from September to March, we paid 14.3 billion rands.
They want more.
So that was a huge feat to be able to achieve that, to be able to make those payments. And then just for information for the people out there, the value of the claims, the general value of the claims, were 23,500 rands. That's what people were claiming in their two-pots. But you can see 700,000 people had an average value of 23,000.
So what were the challenges that you faced during this claim, especially the two-pot? What are the challenges of the two-pot?
It was an extremely challenging period, Oscar, because that's why I'm highlighting it. The fact that we managed to pay 14.3 billion rand is actually a huge success, because first of all, with the two-pot, you know the situation that it's meant to be for emergencies. So we don't want people to wait too long. Yes, we still keep, because we knew it was a new system. We stuck to a 60-day time period in terms of payment, but on average, we were paying within 3 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks, we were paying people. We had it was really difficult in the beginning. We had a challenging time in terms of the system's readiness, the readiness of the system to pay claims. We had some teething problems in the beginning with the two-pot system, but come into late September, into August, we started to find our groove, and we started to find a way to process this. the fact that we allowed these claims, to be processed through the GEPF app, So we cut away forms. So if you apply for two-pot, you don't complete a form and sign it or anything, You do it on the app and then you get your payment. So it was an extremely challenging period. It continues to be challenging. It continues to be challenging, but we were able to do it. We were able to do it quite well. Yeah.
So can a member now still claim the two-pot?
Yes, the two-pot open. So remember, the two-pot is it uses the financial year. So it opens from 1 March until to 28 February. So it follows the tax system. It follows the tax year. 1 March to 28 Feb, people can submit a claim. And then remember, you can only claim once a year, right? You can only claim once in a tax year.
Yeah.
So yes, people can claim. So, but once you have claimed in a tax year, you can't claim again. You must wait for next year to claim again.
Yeah.
If you have funds in your savings pot.
So is it still 30 grand?
So the 30 grand, Bra Oscar, was what we call seeding capital.
Okay.
It was just to help members along. To claim. So that's why it was kept at 30,000 rands last year, because it was the beginning.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, everybody had zero in the savings pot. There was no money in the savings pot, right?
Yeah.
So we put in 30,000 rand as a seeding. So, but now, there is no limit of what you can claim from your savings pot. There is no limit, but it depends how much you have. So if a person, let's use an example of someone, their 30,000 rand went in on 1 September 2024.
Yeah.
And even sitting here today, they have not yet claimed. So which means their money has been growing, their savings pot. So let's take an example. Let's just use a random number. Maybe by now it's been a year since September, October, November. It's been 14 months. So maybe now the person has, 38,000 rand, 40,000 rand. If they want to claim the entire 40,000 rand, they can claim it. We don't recommend it though, but it's up to the person.
Yeah, another voice message. If a husband worked for more than 10 years, will the spouse be covered for a spousal pension for life? Please explain.
Correct. It will. The member will. So remember the way the GEPF benefit works. If your service period, the years that you've worked at the GEPF, are 10 years and above, then you are entitled to that 1/3 lump sum plus the monthly pension, which is paid for life.
Yeah.
If your years of service are less than 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Are less than 10 years, then all your pension is paid out to you as a lump sum, and you don't get a monthly pension. So the answer is definitely yes. If the member had 10 years service, the spouse is entitled to get a spouse pension.
065-927-8326, 065-927-8326. This is Mr. Dandala talking about the annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. So, how does the GEPF differ from other pension or other funds?
Other funds. So the most important difference, Bra Oscar, is I'm sure a lot of people who listen to the show now and follow the GEPF will have heard this many times. We are what we call a defined benefit fund. Okay? So it's very, very important to understand that. A defined benefit fund means that a member's benefits are determined in the legislation of the GEPF called the GP law. So, and what it is practically is that there's a formula for how benefits are calculated. There's a formula for what benefits are calculated. It's years of service multiplied by average salary, multiplied by the actuarial interest factor. So that's how benefits are calculated. They use a formula to make you understand. Then in the private sector, most private sector pension funds are what are called defined contribution funds. Okay, so which means that you make a contribution to your pension fund. That pension fund, like the GEPF, is invested in various investments on the stock exchange sector, and then in a defined contribution, The performance of the market is what determines what you get at the end of the day.
Okay.
So if the markets were up, you'll get a good pension. Your pension will be high. If the markets were down, you'll be disadvantaged. In the GEPF, the markets don't play a factor. It's the formula. We use the formula to then calculate your benefits. So we can't come back to you and say, no, the markets were down and whatever, in the normal way that a defined contribution fund does.
Again, let's talk about the difference between the GPF and the GPAA.
Yeah.
How does these two differ?
Yes.
Again?
Yeah, very, very good question, Oscar, and thanks for asking that. So the GEPF is an organization that has a board of trustees that is appointed by the Minister of Finance. It has 16 members from employer organizations and also from the unions who then form the board, okay, which is the ultimate responsibility for determining the policy and the strategy of the GEPF, okay. So the board and the GEPF is the organization that is responsible for that in that sense. Then what the GEPF has done, it has appointed implementing agents, right, to carry out certain functions. There are two key functions. The first one is the investment of the contributions. So someone must invest on our behalf on the stock exchange, etc. And what typically every pension fund uses what is called an asset manager. The assets are the money. We give them to the asset manager, and then they invest in various investment funds. The GEPF has delegated that responsibility to the Public Investment Corporation, or the PIC. I'm sure people would have heard that.
Yeah.
The PIC does that. On the other side, the other role that has been delegated by the GEPF is the administration of benefits.
Yeah.
So that is now submitting claims, making sure that all the paperwork is correct, making sure people's details are updated, to paying the monthly pensions. This is now done by the Government Pensions Administration Agency. So it's a different organization from the GEPF. These are two different organizations. The GPAA and the PIC.
Yeah.
There are two different organizations that report to the GEPF.
Okay. All right.
So that's the difference. So a person that says they work at the GPAA, they don't work for GPF, they work at the GPF, at the GPAA, and they are responsible for doing administration of the pensions.
Lastly, your last message, your last words to all the members of GPF rather, and especially to those
I had
who are
one.
listening.
I don't have one more time. Some time for one more point to add.
Yeah, just
Okay, so you had asked me this one about the social impact of our investments. So
Yeah.
we take it very importantly. So I had explained the fact that we try to invest in things that will help society.
Yeah.
You know, we have our key responsibility is to make sure that members' money grows and that they have a good pension. That's
Yeah.
number one. We don't compromise that. But then secondly, we invest. When we invest in all these companies, what are you doing for society? What are you doing for GPF members? We ask them those questions. And some of the things that we did in the first financial year, for example, through the companies, not GPF directly, through our investment. So I want to make that clear as well. I'm not saying that GPF did this, but we did it because we invested money in those companies who then helped us achieve this. For example, we created 174,500 employment opportunities through our various investments. Youth that managed to get employed through our investment at 23,400. Those are companies that we've invested in directly who then employed young people. Okay, 23,000 for people. People with disabilities that got employment opportunities through the GPF investments are 1,285. We also did other various things. I'll just mention two. We invest in companies, for example, that build housing, for members. We contributed to the building of 70,000 houses in the last financial year, the building of 1,320 hospital beds that were increased, which included 10 hospitals and 10 hospitals and clinics, in which we invested in those companies that are building that infrastructure. So I just want to make a point. There's more. The last one that I can add in terms of student loans through these various companies that were dished out was nearly 700 million in student loans that were paid out through the various companies. So those companies they do what they do, but then they do these developmental things through which members of the GPF benefit. So
where can we find GPF?
So the GPF is available on various platforms. So like I said, we have a call center, 0800 117 669. So that's the first port of call. If members can call there when they're following up on their claims. We have a website, gepf.co.za. Can find us there. We have an email address, enquiries@gepf.co.za, as well as our social media platforms. We are on Facebook as the Government Employees Pension Fund. We are on X as GPF on X, and we have a YouTube channel as well, which is being live streamed. I would hope that some of the members listening tonight are watching us on YouTube. So we have a YouTube channel as well, which is GPF, which has a lot of information for GPF.
Right. Mr. Dandala, thanks once again for coming, and I guess to see you next time, right?
Yeah, there's always a next time, Thank you very much, and thank you to the listeners. Thank you for all their questions. Please, if they are following up on claims, if I can say, taking the theme of the people that we're calling in, don't sit back with silence.
Yeah.
Do something. Phone the call center. Go on social media.
Come to the office.
Come to the office. Exactly. Don't sit back. It's your money. You deserve it, and we must pay it to you at the end of the day.
Right. That was Mr. Dandala talking about the annual report results for the 2024-2025 financial year. From me to you, I guess to see you next time. Have a super wetness day.
When retirement comes, the uniform comes off, the classroom empties, the clock strikes 5 for the last time, and the last patient is checked. But your dignity, that remains.